Here's Big Craig review of Pusha T Daytona. Kanye West, yay. Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Kids See Ghosts. And then Nasir. Daytona first. Daytona reminds me of a Jay-Z album. It reminds me of something Jay-Z would have did like on American Gangster or, something like that. But the album is still dope. Pusha T was in, but Pusha T always in good lyrical shape, and out of all the 4 albums, Pusha T neck for neck with Nas on the lyrics, actually. It's just the difference is Nas on a different, you can tell Nas in a different stage of his life right now. But back to Pusha T album, it remind me of a Jay-Z album. So, you gotta talk the D-boy talk 85% of the time. And, he want to assert the fact that, he really lived that life. And he wants you to know that every chance he get. At some point, you gotta say, okay, Pusha T, we know you lived that life, man. We know you've been out there. We know you know what it's really like. And we know that half the rappers who are enjoying more success in their career than you didn't really live that life, even though they talk about it. We understand now, Pusha T, that there's a clear distinction between, you and rappers who just talk it but didn't live it. I'm convinced, Pusha T. I'm convinced now that you really lived that life. You really been out there, and you really, have some experience, in this D-boy game, man. I mean, I believed you since Lord willing, but I understand you had to get more people. You want the mainstream people to take into account that you really lived what you, or you have experience in what you're rapping about, while other rappers may not even have the experience. On the lyrical side, you sharp, man. You sharp as a arrow tip. You know what I'm saying? I like how you put it together. It wasn't, it ain't just drug dealer rap. You know what I'm saying? You really I could tell you really put some thought into this one. How you wanted to say it, how you wanted to deliver it, how you wanted it to be received by the listener. The confidence was there. The spirit was there. The music was a great support, and a great platform for you to speak what you needed to speak. So as a lyricist, man, it was awesome. That's a 4. If this was a rating system, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5. Matter of fact, I can't. I would have to say 4.5 on that. No pun intended. I'm gonna say 4.5 on that, and that's because the only thing I really didn't like about it is that I think the dopeness of the album gets overshadowed by the whole Drake situation. Like, if there was no, Infrared could have been just another one of them trap songs, and it would have been a banger to me. So it does kind of seem like, you took the beef route to get publicity for the album. The album was already dope, but there was some tactics, and in hip hop, man, and in these streets, man, we don't really like tactics like that, So the Whitney Houston album cover thing, the Drake dissing thing, like, you got a dope album, and nobody's really talking about the album. They talking about the dissing that's going on right now. So all that takes away from how dope this album really is. If you know, the games we play, that hard piano, man. What would me do? My personal favorite, the games we play. I mean that that right there, man, is man. That's you know what I'm saying. Like that's something that should be like a single right now. You know what I'm saying? That should be a video right now. Play amongst the stars, like the roof and the wraith. Get the table next to mine. Make our bottle servers race. Man, that's poetic, man. You know, and I know what you was doing with that. I appreciate what you was doing with that. So I say 4.5, man. You know, because this, you know, even though it's only 7 songs. You know, so I gotta knock points off of that because I think, you know, an album need 10 at least. But I know Kanye West once again was heavily influential in this process. So, you know, that that kind of takes away from it too. In my mind, you know what I'm saying? That's just me being a fan, me talking like a fan. Kanye West, you know, telling established artists like Pusha T and Nas and him even though he adhered to it itself, but it's like, everybody doing 7 songs, like, so I feel like you were kind of restrained in what you could do and what you really wanted to do. You know, it seemed like you had a lot more to say. So yeah, 4.5, man. I mean, I feel like that's fair, and the album is what we have as an album is a classic. Next up, that Kanye West, that Ye album. And I'm just speaking off the top of my head because that's the best way to rate an album that is unorthodox as it get. Kanye West under a lot of controversy, after going on TMZ and after going on these major media platforms that are owned by white people that are used against black people. These major news outlets for white people, anything good going on with black people don't get reported on these channels. The media that we have is just, it's not African American friendly. So I have to start there because when Kanye West went on TMZ and when he went on the internet or wherever he went, when he first started with this whole Candace Owens thing and then, wearing the Make America Great Again hat and then going on TMZ saying slavery was a choice for blacks. Slavery sounded like a choice. I have to start there because we have to go into the mentality that leads to this album review. So, you saying all of this and you saying, I have the freedom to say these things, but you also have the freedom to use discretion. As a man, I was always taught a man don't go back on what he say. A man mean what he say and he say what he mean. So I don't appreciate a person that says something and then try to backtrack it. And that's what seems like is going on the Ye album. It seems like he's backtracking, what he said. And then he's also blaming it. Well, I can't even say blaming it because that part is true, If you got mental health issues, you will have effects and you will have, issues and you but knowing this leads me to say, okay, then if you know that when you on pills, it's going to make you say certain things or it's going to make you do certain things, don't say nothing. Because at this time, you can say mentally, I'm not in a place where I can make an album. Mentally, the medicine I'm under, the medication I'm taking, I'm not in a place to be on media outlets where white people can twist up my words and make me look like I'm crazy or make me look like I'm selling out. If you under certain medication, you shouldn't be in a place where people can use that and catch you in those rare moments where they can use you for ratings and use you for propaganda. That's the word that I want to say. You allowing them to use you now as their tool and say, look at this black man saying he support Trump, you know. So I don't know what type of medicine you taking that got those type of side effects that would make you, you know, want to speak on behalf of Trump or make you want to speak on behalf of Candace Owens. And then, you know, you still making pretty dope beats. So the medication hasn't stopped you from making nice beats. So, you know, I don't know how to accept, you know, the Ye album when he's saying, you know, I was taking these pills and I was doing this and you know, people want me to be a certain way. I don't really think it's that people want you to be a certain way, but people don't want you to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't want you to be that way. Why you gotta be that way? That's the thing. Like, why that way? You know, when you was on your Mason Margiela and you was wearing the mask and all of that, yeah, you know, people thought it was different, but at the same time, it wasn't so out of the box that it was offensive. Can you offend? Yeah, man, you want to offend white people all day. But don't offend black people, man. I mean, black people fought hard for you, man. Why the medicine got to make you be offensive to us, man? You know what I'm saying? So the Ye album, to me, and you have the right to say what you want to say. But if you say it, then you can't use the medicine and the pills you taking as a reason why you said it, because this got recorded. You know what I'm saying? You recorded this, and now people gonna be able to go to these recordings forever, and that's what it is. I like that Yikes track, and I like your clapbacks. I like how you got at Russell Simmons, man. You know, that was slick how you told dude, man. Yeah, you know, Russell Simmons pray for me. I'm gonna pray for him because he got me too. You know, like, yeah, you right. You know, ain't nobody that don't make, you know, everybody got their problems. Everybody got their problems. That's right. And the thing is though, man, you know, you gotta just use discretion. Ye is dope. You know, Ye's super dope. And nobody ever be able to take away from what he done, what he doing musically. But as a spokesperson, if you on pills, if you on medication, and that medication makes you be a bad spokesperson for black people, then don't do it. Turn down them interviews. I'm not talking right now. I'm taking medicine. You know, this medicine got adverse effects on me mentally, and you know, I'm not in a place right now to speak, because you put yourself in a position where they're gonna take what you say. Now they're gonna do that anyway. They're gonna already take what you say and flip it, and then the side effects or whatever you taking is gonna make it even worse, because now they're gonna have you out of character completely. They're gonna use all that against you. And then if somebody, you know, when it comes to the album and somebody say, well, yeah, that Ye album kind of whack, you know, then, you know, you got another excuse. Well, I was taking pills at the time. That wasn't my real album. You know, I mean, but you recorded this. My review on it, if I was to go, you know, out of 5, I would say 3 out of 5. You know, 3 out of 5 I think is fair. I feel like the album was rushed. For some reason, it seemed rushed, because it seemed like he wanted to defend his stance on the things that was being said and done in the media. I love that violent crimes track, because, you know, as a man, you know, with daughters, you got to look after, you know, like that's unique. That's dope to me. Like that in the Yikes track. It's probably like the two of the dopest songs on the album. And again, it's only 7 songs. So I have to knock points off of that. I feel like Kanye is the type of artist that's going to continue to produce excellent music. And Kanye as a rapper, I think, is pretty dope too, actually. So I can't say stick to producing. You can't say that to Kanye. Kanye is a dope rapper. But I will say that, if he's having mental health issues, literally, because, in hip hop, we'll say something is sick and mean that it's actually good. But, if something is sick, literally, then you can't represent hip hop in the way that we need you to represent hip hop. We can't, you can't represent the culture the way the culture needs to be represented, because mentally, you got some restrictions, whether it's, to no fault of your own. But, what hip hop need is great representatives. And, that means the task becomes bigger than just making a dope album. Now you got to go out here and you got to speak about this album. Now you got to go out here and represent your fans. And if you can't represent your fans and you cut your fans off and say, well, this is how I feel and this is just personal and everything is your own personal view, then you can't represent the culture the right way. You can't be a spokesperson for the culture, because you're not speaking on our behalf when you say, you want to, Donald Trump is your brother and Donald Trump is a good person. You're not speaking on hip hop behalf with that. So you got to, you can't be spokesperson anymore for that. You like how Candace Owens thinks. You're not speaking on behalf of hip hop with that. You got to come off the throne now. That ain't what hip hop is on right now. Hip hop not agreeing with Candace Owens. Hip hop is not trying to work with Donald Trump. So the bigger picture would be your stance in this whole thing beyond the album. Like, okay, yeah, Kanye West gonna make a dope album, but now what is he gonna say in the public? You gotta hold down both positions. You gotta be just as dope in the public as you are in the studio. The people gotta be, pushing you to be the spokesperson. You can't just assume you the spokesperson for hip hop but make hip hop music. So if you're gonna speak on behalf of yourself and only your family when you in the media, but then you want hip hop to support your album, that's a conflict right there. So 3 out of 5 for the Ye album. That what was next? That Kid Cudi and Kanye. That Kid Cudi and Kanye, yeah, that was I liked that one too. I get that about a 3. That Feel the Love was tight. I think it was Fourth Dimension. Let me see.
May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life? Man in the full knowledge.
Down the chimney he will come with his great big smile.
Yeah, Fourth Dimension. I like that. Man, it's a real spiritual kind of album though. It's I always like spiritual albums. I always like them albums where, people are talking about God on the album and talking about the spirit. This album got a lot of that on it. The dope thing about it is it seemed like an extension of the Ye album kind of, but it's still different. Like that, so if Kanye West is bipolar, it shows in his production, which is, a good thing kind of, because all of these albums are different. The Daytona album is different from the Ye album. The Ye album is different from the Kids See Ghosts album. The Kids See Ghosts is different from Nasir album. So that says a lot, in the talent of Kanye West as a producer. Like, The dude is a genius, And I don't. What I think happens is a lot of times, you so creative that it scares you, literally. But back to this album, yeah, I mean, of course, it's one of them albums. This album is more like Warhol painting than anything. It's really an artistic album. It's really a album that should be in the art exhibit. It's like that, and it's different, and it's one of them albums that you have to listen to a lot and say, yeah, I get that. This is a rare finding, and you can appreciate the artwork, and you can appreciate how some songs are short, others are long, and it captures the moment in time. I really wouldn't expect nothing less from Kid Cudi and Kanye West collaborative, project. So this is exactly what I thought it would be. I give it a 3.5 out of 4. Out of 5, 3.5. I can listen to this. That Fourth Dimension, them samples, man. Kanye West, man, ain't nobody, can't nobody do samples like dude. If you a person that loves samples, it seems like he know how to sequence them right. He know how to engineer them right. Like, the dude beats is amazing, and it just draw you in, and everything sounds good after that. So that I don't really have too much to say about the Kid Cudi album because it's exactly what I thought it would be. Very artistic, very just creative. You never kind of know what the mindset was going into it. It ain't like a Pusha T album where you like, yeah, I'm finna listen to some D-boy music. When I ride around listening to Pusha T, it's like riding around with one of my homies telling me about, we just talking about how the game go, the good and the bad, have some laughs, so Pusha T is like that. Like, I know I'm finna go kick it with my homeboy Push. Oh, yeah, I already know what we finna do. We finna be on some hood, we finna be on some street, talk about the good old days. But Kid Cudi and Kanye West, that's kind of like your one homeboy that's just, he kind of weird, but that's still homie though. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of like, I'm finna listen to dude, and I don't know what he finna be talking about, but somewhere in the conversation we gonna meet in the middle, and we still gonna have a decent conversation. So that's what the Kid See Ghost album reminds me of. 3 out of 5. Now we get to Nasir album, which is an amazing album, man. This album is like, I'm just proud of Nas that Nas still got it, Like, it don't have to necessarily be better than Pusha T album. Like, I wouldn't think that first at bat Nas will just come in and make an album. Like, Pusha T and Kanye West been gelling for a minute. So they kind of understand each other. I think Pusha T read Kanye West pretty good. I think he read into him pretty good. So I think that overall, Pusha T just sound better over Kanye West beats than Nas. I think due to their history with, songs like, New Guy Flow. They just, New Guy Flow. They just going in, So that album, the Daytona album is the build up from those early collaborations where now Pusha T and Kanye West is like Dre and Snoop or Puffy and Mace. They have that genuine relationship working together. But speaking on Nas' album, Nasir now, as usual, Nas is always in tip top shape, lyrical form, and it's just packed with information that people need. People need this information. That's why Nas can never make a whack album to me, because Nas somehow always gives you information that you need. And my favorite type of music, it ain't music that make me dance. It ain't music that make me, want to act silly. The type of music I like is music I can listen to and learn from. I like to listen to music that make me think. So if Kid Cudi, Kanye West album belonged in an art exhibit, a Martin Lawrence gallery or something, then Nas album should be bestseller New York Times. Push album could be, a trap movie. Kanye West album could be a TED talk, So now, we into reading a bestseller right now. We appreciate an author right now with this Nas album. Nas album, it always remind me of, like, I just sit back, what I'm saying, I throw on my Ralph Lauren glasses and I just read a great book, That's what this Nas album reminds me of. So, that even from right off the bat, it's just packed with information, and I love the ending of it, when he says, Puffy says, "You lucky God made us compassionate and forgiving." It's so many lanes I can go with that, because black people let so much slide. And another thing, this album is in direct contrast with what Kanye West was doing in the media. Nas is speaking up for black people on this album, from Cop Shot the Kid. Let's remind them why Cap kneels. Colin Kaepernick, let's remind them why Cap kneels. Like, that's in direct contrast with what Kanye West was doing in the media. So Nas is like, look here, I still represent the culture. You put me in front of the media, I'm not gonna make our culture question whether I'm still in touch with what black people are going through. It's clear and concise, the whole album. The white label, that beat, man, Kanye West being able to give Nas the musical platform that he need to get his words across. This is different than the Pusha T album, where Kanye West had heavy influence into it, as far as, making it only 7 songs, changing up Pusha T album cover at the last minute, and giving it the controversy, because, he said it, when Kanye West was saying this stuff in the media, the album comes out like right on the heels of that. So everybody wanted to, Pusha T at that time was the closest thing to Kanye West. So people wanted to know if Kanye West was going to spaz out on Pusha T album. It was a lot that overshadowed how dope Pusha T album really is, beyond that song Infrared and beyond this song Story of Adidon and all of that. But Nas' album is Nas' album. It just so happened to be produced by Kanye West. Be clear about that. Now, he did go for the 7 songs, so I got to knock points off for that. But I feel like that's appropriate for Nas, because Nas gives you so much information that it's hard to digest if he had 12 songs, 15 songs, 19 songs. Nas ain't finna give you no cookie cutter. Every song Nas is going in, he gonna be, just like, like on the Everything song. I mean, what the man said, it's like I said, it's a bestseller. If Starbucks is bought by Nestle, please don't arrest me. I need to use your restroom. I ain't buy no espresso soon enough. Assume the cuffs. The position not new to us. Since back on the bus sitting, said screw the bus. Boycotted the bus out of business. Like, you can't normally fit that over a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bestseller stuff. My first house, 11,000 square foot mansion. It was haunted by dead bitch whites. Mad a nigga bought his crib to hang up pictures of Black Christ. Like, you normally don't get somebody to say that over a hip hop beat. People do anything to be involved in everything. Inclusion is a hell of a drug. Some people have everything they probably ever wanted in life and still never have enough. You know, I mean, you could take that and look at what's going on today with Kanye West. You know, he probably got everything he wanted in life and he never have enough. And it's overwhelming him. The success is overwhelming him to the point where he go on TMZ. Like, Kanye West can listen to this album and take notes. You know, Jay-Z can listen to this album and take notes. Look at all the rumors going around that Beyonce slept with LeBron James. You know, people just never have enough. You got Jay-Z. You sleeping with LeBron James. You got everything you want in life and never have enough. Like, this album is therapy. Cut the fat from the, what was that? Adam and Eve. Cut the fat from the meat. Extract the wheat. Bon appetit. No bacon. Brothers is swine. It's hard to trust them because my hustle is mine. Insecurities keeping you disabled. All this money to get, is it less time? They ain't stopped printing money because they made mine. I learned to stretch time. These are the best times. Like, you know, you won't get that on a hip hop album. That's a legendary type of stuff. That's stuff that, yeah, you might not like it right now because you want to hear, you want to hear what's trendy. But a year from now, those bars are going to still be relevant. 5 years from now, those bars are going to still be relevant. We playing catch up to Nas, what Nas is doing. You know, we got to catch up to that. A lot of people not ready for that right now. Because it's like, man, it's a rap song. Why he got to go so heavy? Because that's what's needed. People need to wake up. Watch who you get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? The man is dropping nothing but jewels on this album. So his 7 songs is different from everybody else's 7 songs because it's packed with 20 songs worth of information. Like Jay-Z said, I'm giving you all this game for $9.99. That's what Nas is doing. He giving you a lot of game. It's worth every cent because you listen to Nas' body of work. He done all of that. You know, he on the Nigger album, the Untitled album. Go listen to that album. Nothing but jewels. That album could never be weak. You know, it was ahead of its time. It's all ahead of its time. Like I said, Nas is like a best-selling author to me. Pusha T album is like a trap movie. You know, back in the day, you had to go buy it from a store. It won't come to the theater, but it's a classic. You know, Kanye West album is, talking to your homie after, he had a traumatic experience or something. Cudi album is like a painting, slick little painting, Basquiat painting or something. And the Nas album is a New York bestseller. And I get that one a 4. 4.5, 4.5. Right there with Push album. But they 2 different types of albums, so you can't compare and say, well, this one or that one is better. They both serve 2 different purposes. And they both great in their own right. And the Ye album is a personal testament type of album. And you got to give Ye that. You got to give him that moment of reflection, that time to just sit back and say, yeah, I said this and I said that, and this is my stance on it. So, you got to give him that. And that Kid Cudi album is set apart in its own way. But nonetheless, all of those albums serve a great purpose. And overall, production, Kanye West shows that he's still head and shoulders above everyone else. I mean, man, I have yet to see other hip hop producers do what he just did. 4 albums back to back, and all of them dope. That's, some doper than others, but all of them dope nonetheless. And they all serve their own purpose. So, him being the captain of the ship and handling the production and handling the artwork and having his own personal stamp on each of those albums, it all goes back to him to show how great he is at what he do. So shout out to Good Music and Mass Appeal, and shout out to Pusha T for giving us that type of album that we ain't had in a long time, that's representing the culture and representing the streets. And shout out to Ye for that heat, and Kid Cudi for that, for that abstract art, and shout out to Nas for showing, look here, I still got it. I'm lyrically I'm still at the top of my game, and I can still give you albums and give you a body of work that you won't see the value in until you in that situation. Like, the man is incredible. It's Big Craig. Thanks for listening. If you listen to this long, review, but it's so much into that you can't just, summarize these albums and these type of artists in 5 minutes, like fairly. These are legendary artists, all of them. That you can't just say, this album is dope or whack because of this. You have to go into detail of why, if you really hip hop. And I'm really hip hop. Big Craig, I'm out.